the sports more than first take.
Stephen A., respectfully, with your platform, you could have been doing this 3 years ago if you wanted to.
Wow.
All right, we got to go. You guys.
So did you say
know
that
you're my
shows?
guy, but
who does more than
Stephen A.,
us?
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Wow.
Don't do that. I'm talking to you about the power that you have.
Okay.
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
Okay, so you got straight up Love and Hip Hop that made it on First Take. Molly McNutt is telling him, boy, I'm going to translate for you, boy, go somewhere and sit down because you don't know nothing about what you're talking about. Okay, checked him live on First Take and checked him so hard, okay, that Stephen A. had to go off of First Take onto the podcast and try to pull the card. I was like, you know what? You have got to be kidding me. I couldn't believe that, he got ran off his own show. And I mean, I knew sooner or later it was going to happen, folks. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. This is more entertainment today than anything else. I got my shirt on, my referee shirt. But I knew Stephen A. was eventually going to get checked. And when that happened, I didn't know how he was going to respond. I didn't know how he was going to react. Because, when you get to disrespecting black women, or women in general, women empowerment, and the deal is really simple, okay, because you got Catlin Clark, who's a 5-star player. There's no doubt about it. Monica McNutt is saying, yes, she can play, but rookies go through the initiation. And Stephen A. Smith got right in her face and said, look, I'm the one that's held the WNBA together. Without me and First Take, I'm the one that done this. Now, here's where it gets interesting, because I'm going to take you to a scene here where Stephen A. just starts talking about who he is, what he is, and what he's done. But then he goes to the executive producer's whole card. Take a listen, folks. This is unbelievable.
That's going on, and a lot of people run from it. But I'm not, because I'm not scared of these subjects. Doesn't faze me at all. To address Monica McNutt's point, I found it very unfortunate that she would say that. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the executive producer of First Take. You ever heard of Monica McNutt? You have now, because she's on First Take a lot. Shanae Ogumake, absolutely wonderful, spectacular basketball analyst, et cetera, WNBA player in her own right. Ask her how it's been to be on First Take.
Now, let me do some translations here, because this deserves translations, and I want to break this down to what Stephen A. just told Monica McNutt. This is some real love and hip-hop now. I mean, you put it love and hip-hop in Atlanta, love and hip-hop New York. This is really some love and hip-hop. He basically is telling her right now, and it translates that I'm your boss. Okay, you need to shut up. Okay, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. Okay, Molly wouldn't be here. None of y'all would be here if it wasn't for me. I, Stephen A. Smith, is your boss. I'm the executive producer. I call all the shots on First Take. Okay? And folks, take a listen. This one here needs a referee, because we go on WBC 12 rounds championship on this one. And this is very interesting.
How about Andrea Carter, who's a rising star in this business? How much do you think First Take helped that? What about Kimberly Martin? What about Molly Qerim herself?
Now, did Stephen A. just take the whole card to Molly Qerim? Okay, and basically what Stephen A. is doing right now, this is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics. Folks, what Stephen A. is doing right now, let me just kind of share with you. He is taking the full power card over the top of everybody that's on television. He is basically telling everybody that comes on First Take, none of you would have been anything unless it was for me. Now, this is a man that's going down deep and shallow, okay, because I will tell you this, the disrespect, I've been on this for a minute, okay, the disrespect of women empowerment, the disrespect of women, how you feel that you are dominating over women, you control women, you are explaining that women have nothing to do and you have all the power. And that is a bad place to be. I learned that. I coach women's basketball. I had two great friends check me all the time, Coach Belita, Coach Sheila. Hey, you out of line, okay? Stephen A. Smith stuck his foot in his mouth, okay, got on there with Monica McNutt, and Monica McNutt straight up checked him and told him, you know what, quit lying. Quit lying, Monica McNutt told Stephen A. Smith. Quit lying. You could have done this on your platform years ago, okay? And he got so angry and so frustrated behind this that he had to go on his podcast and start trying to pull rank. Folks, this is love and hip hop at its best. Take a listen to Mr. Stephen A. Smith. It's almost like a man without a country. Take a listen. This is unbelievable to me. I got my referee jersey on because I know.
Now, I have sat back for years and taken a lot of shit from people. Some who don't know what the hell they're talking about. Some who act like they don't know just because they want to get at me. I could care less about people getting at me. I just want you to be accurate. And it is highly offensive to me when somebody implies or flat out states, like Monica McNutt did this morning, which was factually incorrect.
Stephen A. Smith then lost his mind, folks. And let me tell you why I know he lost his mind. Because, you know what, Carrie A. Champion, the other co-host that used to be over there. See, this is the problem when you get some people that get ahead of themselves, okay, and they get ran out of their territory. And when they get ran out of their territory, then all of a sudden they want to go and start attacking women. And, you know, basically it's just being a chauvinist pig, okay, which has no doubt about it. I mean, I had a tough sister, my sister Joyce, and she used to ride me out all the time. Brother, you got to change your ways. You know, I turned 60, I said, hey, man, you know what? I was wrong, okay? But here's the deal. Man, you going up against these women and you calling them out and basically telling them they're worthless. You're basically telling them everything they have is because of you, okay? And this is a bad situation. And let me tell you how bad a situation is when you get people like Stephen A. Smith. You get love and hip hop coming into the world, and you're bringing love and hip hop. You're going to bring that on over into the game, okay? And when you bring that over into the game and you do that, folks, you got to understand that you got, you know, Molly McNutt sitting here, and you got somebody that's checking you for the fact that you're out of line. Okay, and you talking about you holding up the WNBA, and with Catlin Clark, and I got a lot of respect for Catlin Clark because Catlin Clark is a 5-star player. Okay, what is a 5-star player? And there's not a whole lot of them that are in the WNBA. You can shoot it, you can pass it, you can dribble it, you can defend it, you can block it, and you can think it. Okay, there's not a lot of players there. And I heard the comment coming from Carter just saying, well, what does she do? Shoot. Well, what does the WNBA need? Shooters. You're shooting less than 30%. Some teams are shooting so bad it's horrendous. Okay, but you need shooters and you need 5-star players and people. Are, basically, it comes down. You need more Catlin Clarks, and not really just Catlin Clark. You need more 40, 50, 90 players. Okay, what are 40, 50, 90 players in the WNBA? You shoot 40% from the three-point line. You shoot 50% from the field, and you shoot 90% from the three-point line. That's what the WNBA wants. That's the type of player the WNBA needs to be successful, because the game they want to put on the court today is displaying the shooting from distance, the passing, and understanding the manufactured offense that are on the court. So to put it as to Catlin Clark, here's the problem when you do what you're saying, or Stephen A. is saying for Catlin Clark, and what Monica McNutt is saying, and she clearly said it. If you haven't seen it, take a listen. Here's the hard part, what you're doing for all the young ladies who are growing up and trying to understand this, because the WNBA, the main factor that they have to understand is you got kids watching the game now. And when you got kids watching the game, here's what changes. Okay, they're going to look up and they're going to see role models. And what are those role models got to do? They got to show the way, okay? Now, with Catlin Clark, the way the media is portraying it, and it's Main Street. And let's be honest, Main Street, I mean, we haven't covered the WNBA to the extent that we know. We're just coming in, like I said, coming in like the NFL. I mean, we're just coming right through. We're looking at what we see and report what we see. Well, it's more than that that's gone on. I mean, there's been players who have come in the league and dominated. Maya Moore came in the league. Candace Parker. I mean, all types of players have come in the league and dominated the league. Okay, so it's not the same. But here's the challenge that you got to be careful. Okay, because there's young ladies who are getting in there, and they're getting in there with their parents and the cars and everything, and they could be young. Doesn't matter what color they are. But you can have one of the young ladies ask a question, well, Dad, why I never get to shoot the ball? This is like the WNBA and what you're portraying. Why do I never get to shoot the ball? Well, because, you know, you got your friend Terry, her dad's paying for the team, so she gets to shoot all the time. That's what you got going on in the translation in the WNBA. There's a whole lot of talented players. What Monica McNutt is saying okay, because I go through this with my best friends who are in education, okay, and they do not allow you to say all of the players in the WNBA are not acting this way because some of them have a future. Those who want to take on this and who are not a 40, 50, 90 player, 40% from the three-point line, 50% from the field, and 90% from the three-point line, there's a whole nother class of players coming in. In fact, if you ask me, they want to expand to 6 more teams, at 12 teams, that's 72 players. And they're going to bring in 72 performers who are going to be able to shoot the ball really well. And for Catlin Clark, yeah, you're getting away with it now. I get it. Indiana's, you know, let's face it, Indiana's at the bottom of the barrel. Okay, and I got my referee shirt on. That's what Money Mike, what we're going to do with the WNBA, because they ain't playing out there, okay? And I'll tell you, some of these battles that you see the ladies are having when you get down deep to the WNBA, and it's not like the NBA. You got to look at it totally different. And I coach the game of women's and grassroots, and I know how they think when they get to fighting for what they believe. Okay, in the NBA, you get a beef with a player, well, he goes checks the schedule when we play them again, and we're good to go. I'll see them when I see them, and they'll see each other. I mean, they'll take it out to the parking lot if they have to. In the WNBA, the women are connected. They've got friends. They got relationships. And one thing I learned when I was coaching women's basketball at the highest level, and I didn't care if you played West Coast Elite in the Oregon Trail, you go up there and play Cy-Fair. I remember when Boomer came, they said freshmen can't play in the NBA. That high-low between the two sisters with the best high-low, and the freshman can catch it like a wide receiver. Here's the point that I'm trying to tell you is you got so many other players who are coming in this league, and it'll be over in about a year. Because if they release this thing and let the Indiana figure get Juju Watkins, and you got Juju Watkins and Catlin Clark playing in the same backcourt, think about that. What would it be if Juju Watkins and Catlin Clark played in the same backcourt? What type of team would the Indiana Fever be then? They'd be a whole different team. It's going to be a little bit harder battle for you, and they're going to load up. I told everybody when I saw Indiana draft Catlin Clark, is Red Auerbach coming back? Because you're going to need to do like you did with Larry Bird, French Lick Indiana, it's Indiana still. Okay, what did they do? He went out there and he fleeced Franklin Muley, the only of the Warriors. He went out there and he got Robert Parrish and Kevin McHale, sent us Joe Barry Carroll for the 3rd pick, and he took those 2 stars, drafted Larry Bird, went out, got Danny Ainge out of baseball, and who's the general manager now, I believe up in Utah. And he got Dennis Johnson from Seattle, and he formed a 5 that could play together. And they were the best passing team in the league, bar none. I mean, they could move the basketball, and it was beautiful. Okay, that's what the Indiana Fever are going to do. They're not there yet, but that is what they're going to do. And this is the way the WNBA is going to be played. Because, folks, at the end of the day, you got to look at the demographics of the WNBA. I get it, social media, Angel Reese, great player, but Angel Reese, as great as she is not a 5-star player. Okay, Angel Reese cannot get me the 40, 50, 90 rule. She can't hit that. Okay, and when you are not allowed to do that, okay, and you got Diana Taurasi, she's a 5-full player. I mean, she can do the 40% from the three-point line. She can get you 50 from the field and 90% from the three-point line. And that's what the NBA is looking at, expanding. They want more stretch 3, stretch 4, stretch 5. They want it wide open. I mean, the game is easy if you've got those players in hand. I mean, look at Becky Hammond in Las Vegas. I mean, Becky Hammond's won it back-to-back, but guess what? Becky Hammond went up with Greg Popovich. Okay, if you want to make it equal to that, why don't you just have the Indiana Fever give Steve Kerr a call and have him come on up. I mean, he's played for Lou Holtz. He's played for the greatest of the greatest. He could put an offense in and Caden Clark score 40 points a game because that's what Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry did. Okay, and then you got Draymond. You got a .4 running the ball. Draymond comes out of Michigan State. Let me tell you, went down and saw him in the Final Four. Draymond could drop 30 a game. That's not his role. Okay, so he's talking about, here we go, Boston, get a little bit more tough, but that's just not Boston. So, you know, you could turn the Fever, really, you could turn them into the Indiana Bad Girls, okay, like you had the Detroit Bad Boys, because I'm going to tell you, at the end of the day, this is not the first black player Catlin Clark has played against. This is not the first black player that's knocked Catlin Clark to the ground, okay? And at the end of the day, in the WNBA, you don't know what's coming because there's UFC that's going on. I seen a roundhouse kick the other night turned into a flagrant one. I mean, it looked like accidental. I saw another player backslap a player. I mean, these girls are greater than boxers. They can see shots that boxers don't see. You know, but this is the WNBA. This is the way it's been played, and you want it to be changed. Now, as far as Catlin Clark, you know what? When you get that kind of five-fold player, you know what? You can't take it away. Okay, whatever she did to earn that, that's her game. If you match it, great. If you can't match it, do what you do best that the league can excel. And then when you get back to Stephen A. Smith, you know, when you get guys that come on here and they feel they start to tell women they built them, they made them, they wouldn't be anything without you, you wouldn't be anything without me, and nobody would be successful. That, you know what? That's just disrespectful. And you know what? I told you guys a long time ago, Stephen A. Smith's got a problem with women empowerment. He's got a problem with black women empowerment and black women being successful. And the only way a black woman can be successful on First Take or go out there and do anything is only because of Stephen A. Smith. He made them successful. And folks, you can't get no more disrespecting than that. And I told you guys, if you look through the channel and see how I covered Stephen A. Smith, I told you he needs to get checked. He's going to get checked. He's shallow. He's a man without a country right now because the NBA players don't want anything to do with him. NFL players are backed off. Okay, everybody knows that Jason Whitlock has harassed you. You kind of went around and you're running back picking on other people instead of facing the fight you should. And that's why I got the referee shirt on, because man, oh man, everybody can't step in the ring. And Monica McNutt checked you to the fullest. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics. So what do I have to tell the Stephen A? Man, leave them black women alone. Okay, respect them. Understand their minds are intelligent. You got women empowerment. Don't sit up there and say a woman is successful because of you, Stephen A, because you will be on Love and Hip Hop Scene 1, Scene 2, Scene 3. And this one got so bad, right here. This one got so bad that Molly had to say, let's go to the commercial. Molly started scratching her head. She was losing it. Even Shannon Sharp respected it and said, take a break, because the world was here before Stephen A. Smith. Okay, now you've gotten yourself, you're chasing your tail, but man, don't chase it over to the WNBA, because the WNBA is not going to have it. Those women have earned that. They have built it. And yes, they appreciate Catlin Clark. They do. And you have some that are battling because, you know, she's getting a little bit more shine. But you have to understand she brought all that with her. Okay, so all that was going down before we even got there. And I'll tell you another thing. For those of you who don't know, Money Mike's going to put it out early. Catlin Clark has a mean streak. Okay, I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to tell you, I've coached these women. I've seen it. I see their demeanor. I saw how she started biting back. Catlin Clark's got a mean streak. Now, what Lisa Bluter did, I applaud you, Lisa Bluter, okay, to Iowa's head coach, because you were able to cover it. You were able to keep containing on it. And you could probably tell us better than anyone else, Lisa Bluter, that Catlin Clark has a mean streak, okay? It's being contained, okay? It's being contained right now because of her position being the ambassador. But she ain't scared of no one. And this is not the first time she's seen a black player on the basketball court or been trying to get punked or pushed around, okay? This is the WNBA, okay? She's walking into it, and she's telling you, I'm going to take control of it. Now, you guys do what you got to do, because here's the deal that goes down when you get to playing pro basketball. The Indiana Fever, a good general manager and all of them, got to do what they got to do. Kathy Engelbert, the whole 9 yards. So get ready for it. But no matter how it goes down, no, the league is going to be the league. It's going to be high moments, but we got to control it because obviously we want to keep it as clean as possible for kids. But let's not forget, I mean, Julius Erving, I mean, they had Larry Bird around the throat, okay? Let's not just, these are two ambassadors of the league, okay? Michael Jordan, okay? I mean, these guys had to go through it. I mean, the bad boys just dish Mike and used him as a rag doll. But he didn't complain. He just kept facing it. And then when they beat him, they walked off the court. Well, at the end of the day, the Seattle Storm, you beat Indiana Fever. Okay, great. Go shake hands or whatever the WNBA did, because the WNBA can't be built like the NBA because you're not dunking off the roof. And you got to do some things that you did in college that worked really well. You wave goodbye to the fans. You shake hands. It's a different clientele, okay? But at the end of the day, the clientele is in, okay? And all they want to see is shots made. They want to see more three-pointers. They want to see more passes. They want to see more inbounds. They want to see layups made. They want all these things that they want to pay for. And remember, the WNBA didn't start off the season like the NBA, where they give you the NBA League Pass 2 weeks for free. Okay, so you're building revenue. Let's give them what they want for the game. And players, I get it. Play the way you play. Dig out how you dig out. Do what you got to do. But at the end of the day, the girl ain't going nowhere, Catlin Clark. She's not going to quit. Okay, she's not going to stop playing. You guys keep fouling. And before you know it, you're going to end up somebody's going to come up swinging. Okay, and that's really what it's all about. And I guess if you're asking the question, will she do that? Yes. That girl's got a serious mean streak in her and a serious game the way she plays basketball. The only thing that her and Angel haven't gotten yet is the strength and condition. By the time they get their off-season, come back and put all the weights on and start playing this game the way it's going to be played, that's going to be a problem for anybody to stop Kate Clark. Okay, but it is what it is, and the women got a game they built, respected. They're friends and relationships. They ain't going to wait. Okay, if somebody does something dirty on Thursday night and they got so many friends come Friday night, they're like, don't worry about it, girl. We got you. So that's how the WNBA rolls. And this is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're powered up by Fanatics. When we do the WNBA, we just go put our referee shirt on. Because, man, they are hacking, double hacking. They getting technicals. I think the WNBA, as shocking as it may seem, they may beat the NBA on the technicals. Because, man, they are popping technicals like they popping bottles of soda. But the game is a game. It's going to be what it's going to be. We love it. We're entertained by it, and we're going to keep watching it. So you're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast and Monica McNutt. We salute you, girl. Put that little slap. Let me tell you what it was like. Here you go. Slap it on Stephen A. What? That's what I'm talking about, Monica. Man, they don't give him no passes. Molly Qerim, everybody, and Carrie Smith, love you for checking him too, man. You get out of line, man, you're going to get checked by these black women and women in period. But don't get out of line, Stephen A. Get back in line. Just be thankful that they're in your presence. Because believe it or not, they're smarter than you. And I learned that the hard way. Okay, trust me, I've learned that the hard way. They are smarter than we are as men. They know what they want to do. They know what they need to accomplish, and they're more thorough. This is the WNBA, folks, not the NBA. Okay, it's starting off a little rough, but it's going to smooth itself out, and we're going to enjoy every bit of it. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, and we always tell you it's my opinion, but if the truth, my opinion becomes truth, then I've given you the facts before it's happened, and that's exactly what I've done today. We'll see you soon.